Hello, Ben and Sophie. I think this is the last video about the gun emplacement. The planes destroyed the missiles and did a lot of damage to the aircraft, but the gun is still there, and the British have to do something about that to clear the river for their own ships. So in the darkness, imagine this is dark, some British ships are waiting in the darkness. You can see there's a couple of fast patrol boats and a tank landing craft, and these boats have just unloaded some commandos in kayaks and in a fast speedboat and a dinghy, all very quietly. They must keep silent as they can because there are German guards on the dock. The one problem is that the Germans still have this tank and an armoured car, plus all the gun emplacements. So the idea is that the commandos will come ashore and try to capture the guns if they can. So they've been launched, and of course on this side of the harbour there are these sandbanks, and the Germans don't think anyone would try to land here because the sandbanks make it so difficult, but in the kayaks and the dinghy as well, one of the kayaks will tow the dinghy. They can come ashore here silently and creep up through the trees here. And you may remember there's a path up the side of the mountain here, well, not exactly a mountain, the rock. They come up here. There is barbed wire at the top, but with clippers they can clip the wire and slip through, and there's only one guard here, and they quickly overpower him and tie him up. Doesn't want to be overpowered. So that's one gun. They leave a man there. And now they go down the ramp, and there are only a few men on duty here, I think just the three of them, and they surprise them and they say, put your hands up, and they do. Throw down your weapons, and they're also tied up, even the man in the train. Now they've tried to do this fairly quietly, but there are some guards on this other part, so they have to run across as quickly as they can and do the same thing here. And that's the gun emplacement in control. Now some of them go across. Now the Germans rather foolishly have left the gates open on this part. They come through, it's still dark, they run up and they put out the German guards there. So they managed to capture the big gun emplacement with the two guns and this small one. Now what? The problem is this gun emplacement here, which is quite a long way away. They still haven't raised the alarm, but they'll have to work quickly. So some of these men run across in the dark. And again, there aren't many Germans around, and they come up and they probably try to trick them and say, Fritz, would you like a sausage? Or something like that. And because some of them would speak German, and they captured them as well. Okay, so everything's been done silently so far. And that's the signal. They send a signal for the ships to come in. Now, it's daylight now, or just becoming daylight, but they do need to get rid of the tanks, so they send for their corsairs, and they've got special instructions. Don't hit the gun emplacement because they're commandos there. You've got to just hit the tank and any other German vehicles. They come in, boom, 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 firing rockets and blow up the tank, boom, and the armoured car, boom, 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 shoot a few more Germans, boom, 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 and go back to base. So there aren't many guns facing the British now. So the tank landing craft comes in. It's got a gun here firing, bang, 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 bang. And they let down the bow gate like this. And the tank comes out. That's got a tank landing craft. And shoots this little vehicle there and goes in. And just a few Germans in the over near the airport now. And the other boats come in and they quickly fire at the Germans on the dock and land. So they've captured most of the things they need to, the dock and the gun emplacement. This fast boat comes in here, send a few more men to help there. These men rush across with the tank, sheltered by the tank, and the few Germans left at the airport, just the two, I think only about two left, they surrender and they're taken prisoner. And that's the end of the German airbase, and because the British have captured it, they put the British flag up to show that it's all in British hands now. Can you see any Germans anywhere? I think they've all been captured or put out of action. Yes. And that's the end of our little story. Hope you enjoyed that. Bye-bye.